Hello, today we're going to be talking about you as the founder, the overloaded owner, how you can break those chains and why you won't let go. So let's go ahead and kick it off. All right. Well, I'm going to kick it off today as of the date of this recording, July 10th. A little known national holiday or appreciation day or awareness day is July 10th is a national Don't Step on a Bee Day. This is a simple reminder that, uh, sometimes it's the smallest things that can create the biggest reactions. One sting is enough to make you watch every step, and founders know that feeling. One missed client caller, one unhappy customer, one mistake from a team member, one project that went sideways. And before long, you start believing the safest option is to handle everything yourself. You check in your phone during dinner, you answer one quick email from the lake, you step away from the family barbecue because something can't wait. You tell yourself it's just the busy season. Things will settle down soon, but they rarely do because the problem is not that there's too much work. The problem is that every single decision still depends on you. So when your business can only move at the speed of one person, even a day off starts to feel risky. Today, we're talking about why that happens and how the first handoff changes everything. So let's go ahead and open up the desk. Welcome back to the Delegation Desk Show. This is a show for founders who built something real and are ready to stop being the reason it can't grow any further. I'm Jaime Jay, CEO and founder of Bottleneck Distant Assistants and the creator of Delegation Intelligence category. And last week, we said something that stung a little. We said the bottleneck in your business is you. A lot of you wrote in and agreed. You said, yep, that's me. I'm the one everything runs through. And then most of you did the exact thing I warned you about, nothing. So today we get into the why, because here's what I have learned after years of watching founders try to let go and fail. It's almost never a time challenge. And you can find the time, you found the time for harder things. It's just a trust challenge. You hold on because somewhere deep down you believe that if you want it done right, you have to do it yourself. And today, I'm going to show you why that belief is keeping you stuck and where you really trust actually, and where real trust actually comes from. Let's see what's landed on the desk. Well, here's what's landed on the desk this week. A founder told me she finally hired someone to take work off her plate. Smart person, capable, eager. And 6 weeks in, she was more exhausted than before because she was checking everything, every email before it went out, every task before it was marked done, every decision before it was made. She had hired an assistant and turned herself into a supervisor. So I asked her one question: why are you checking all of it? And she said the thing every founder says, because I need to make sure it's done right. There it is. That is the whole challenge in one sentence. She didn't have a delegation challenge. She had a trust challenge, wearing a delegation costume. And here's what she had not figured out yet. Trust is not something you feel your way into. You don't wake up one day and suddenly trust someone. Trust is something you build, and you build it with structure, not with hope. So let's go ahead and check out the candidate on the desk today, because this is going to have a lot to do with building trust. Today's candidate is an AI-Fluent Executive Assistant with expertise in client care and operations support. And this role becomes the connection point between leaders, clients, and daily operations. Because as businesses grow, calendars become packed, client requests increase, and staying organized becomes a competitive advantage. This candidate helps make that possible. She has experience in all kinds of stuff, but we'll talk about it with executive administrative support, client care and relationship management, CRM, and workflow management, calendar, inbox, and project coordination, and organizational communication. The tools include HubSpot, Go High Level, Kajabi, Google Workspace, Microsoft Office, Asana, ClickUp, Notion, Zoom, Slack, Microsoft Teams, Canva, CapCut, and Filmora. But here's what stood out. This candidate understands that executive support is not just about completing tasks. It's about creating trust, because every well-managed calendar keeps priorities on track. Every timely client response strengthens relationships, and every organized workflow allows leaders to focus on growing the business. What makes this candidate valuable is her ability to combine executive support, client care, and operational coordination into a dependable role. And she understands how to stay organized in a fast-paced environment. She also understands how to communicate clearly with clients and teams, and how to keep important details from slipping through the cracks. That matters more than most business owners realize, because great operations support does not simply make work easier. It creates confidence for leaders, teams, and clients alike. Let us move that file to the completed stack, and let's talk about the meat and potatoes of today's episode. And we call this segment the Delegation Download. Let me give you the honest truth about trust. You've been thinking about it backwards. You think trust comes first and then you let go. That if you could just find the right person, you'd finally feel comfortable handing things off. That's not how it works. Trust does not come from the person. Trust comes from the process. Let me show you what I mean. You don't trust an airline pilot because you know them personally. You trust them because there's a checklist, a system, a documented process that works the same way every single time, no matter who's in the seat. The trust is in the structure, not in the personality, or your business needs that same thing. So here's how you build it. First, pick one thing that always comes back to you, just one. Second, the next 3 times you do it, write down every step as you go. Not perfectly, just honestly. Third, hand that documented process to someone and let them run it while you watch once. Fourth, fix the gaps in the document, not the person. Do that and something shifts. You stop trusting the individual and start trusting the system. And a system scales in a way that personal trust never can. And here's the part that frees you. Once the process is documented, the work is no longer trapped in you, in your brain. It can be handed to anyone. It can survive someone leaving. It can run when you're at the lake instead of at the desk. This isn't giving up control. This is when you finally have it. So now that we've learned that, let's go ahead and get on to the category corner. Let me frame this the way I see it. Most founders try to fix their trust challenge by finding the perfect person. They interview harder, they hire more slowly, they search for that one unicorn who just gets it, and they stay stuck because they're looking for the answer in the wrong place. The answer is not a person, it is a structure. A delegation department led by a trained distant assistant built on a documented process instead of a personal heroics. When the work lives in a structure, trust stops being a gamble. It becomes a system. And most companies never build this. They just keep hiring people and hoping the next one will finally earn their trust. Well, Bottleneck does something different. We don't ask you to trust a stranger with your business. We build the structure that makes you trust something you can see, check, and rely on. That's not better than hiring carefully. That's a different approach entirely. And it's the difference between trusting a person and trusting a process. And the process is the only one of the two that scales. You'll never trust your way out of Bottleneck. You have to build your way out. Trust is the result of structure, not the price of admission. Let's check out what's coming across the desk. Next week, we get practical because by now you know you are the bottleneck and you know the way out is structure, not just trust. So the obvious question is, where do I actually start? Well, next week, we'll talk about the first handoff, the very first thing you should take off your plate. And we're going to focus on the part of your business you guard the most, your clients, because the fear that stops most founders cold is simple. What if I had something? What if I hand something off and a client feels the difference? Next week, I'll show you how to make that first move so your clients feel more cared for, not less. It's going to be a good one. Don't miss it. And so let's go ahead and clear the desk. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this. You're not holding on because you're a control freak. You're holding on because nobody ever gave you a reason to let go that felt safe. So now you have one. Build the process, make the work visible, test the structure instead of crossing your fingers. That's how you finally put the phone down at the cookout. Not because you stopped caring, but because work keeps moving, whether you're watching it or not. And that's what a delegation department makes possible. A documented structure you can actually trust. A summer where you're present instead of half there. We built a free assessment called the Bottleneck Finder. It shows you exactly where your business depends on you too heavily and what you can do to take a start in changing that. And you'll find the link below. If this episode landed, subscribe. And if you're tired of checking everything yourself, take the assessment. Remember, the goal was never to find someone you trust. The goal is to build something worth trusting. Build the department. Clear the chaos. Now that you know that, I'm going to hand it over to our producer, Jeff, who's going to bring us home for this episode. And I'll see you next week, same desk, same time.
Hi there, everyone. So, again, I always thank you for staying until this part of the episode. And Jamie mentioned a lot about trust. And just a quick story, just like what I always mention, this always pops out of my head after hearing whatever Jamie's talking about during this episode. And one thing that hit me is that trust, because before I started with Bottleneck, clients trusted me with the work, and I don't know anything about workflows, documentation, recording, and anything like that. So the CEO or the owner of the company just gives me tasks day to day. Just giving me out that, and a lot of things are changing from time to time. Then came in Bottleneck when I work here, and I heard about workflows. And the first thing that stick into my mind is recording. We always record everything that we're doing. So whatever changes in our documentation, our workflows, we apply it to the company. And what we're always thinking is that if someone else will do that work for me, like if I'm sick or anyone can do that, we always have that document updated. So that's where I got the CEO or my CEO that time's trust, because I have those things documented. I have everything recorded and making sure that everything that changes in the company is updated. So I know that you'll be interested in having someone like that, because it's not just me, because a lot of our distant assistants are doing that. And we have that update with our team, with our HR. How are they? How are their workflows and all of that? So we have that update from Bottleneck to the client and also to the DA. So we have that three-way communication on how everything is doing. And, that is my biggest takeaway in this episode, because I always recall what I'm doing when I was still a DA with Bottleneck. And I've seen that firsthand when I started working with Bottleneck. And of course, right now with Jamie doing this Delegation Desk Show, because behind the scenes, a lot of my work is, making everything visible, from uploading it to having it aired on time and all of that, and even editing the videos, posting it on time, and everything is visible. So Jamie has the trust that every time he sees that on our platforms, the work is done correctly. And with our workflows, I know that if ever I'll have a co-host or I'll have another guest, or I will not be doing the episode for 1 or 2 episodes because of that guest, probably he can do what I'm doing because I we have everything documented, and we've learned that from Bottleneck. So if you're not following us yet, make sure to visit our Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, YouTube. And in YouTube, never ever forget that notification bell so you'll be updated with our next episodes. And of course, what was the last time? With my question, what was the last time that you completely unplug yourself from your business without checking your phone? Most CEOs, as Jamie mentioned, that you are the bottleneck because you're always doing the part that your DA should be doing. So what's that one time that you totally remove yourself from your business? And what's that one process in your business that if we're not documented or owned by someone else would give you the biggest sense of relief? Let us know in the comments. Put it down below. We'll always reading them. Make sure to inspire every episode that we're doing. And of course, if you have suggestions, comments, or anything that you wanted to change, or any suggestions that you have, put it there in the comments down below so that we can read them every time. And of course, if you're ready to build your business that you can actually step away with confidence, visit bottleneck.online/let's-talk, or click the link in the description down below so you'll be updated with our social media pages on what is new with our Delegation Desk Show that can help you and your company. So again, thank you so much for giving us your time and staying until this part of the episode. So again, thank you so much. See you again next time, next week, same desk, same time. Have a great day.